tweet action. You want a little bit of that? I know what you're waiting for. You're waiting for the little D.
It reminds me of like the whistle that the people on The Walking Dead did.
Oh yeah,
You never watched that?
I did, but I have no clue what you're
I
talking
don't know what
about.
they were called. The ones that Negan was the leader of. You know, they were always
Oh yeah. No
I
spoilers.
can't whistle at all.
No spoilers, dude. All right, we're live, Lewis. God,
What,
quit
that somebody
distracting me.
whistled? I don't think that the simple fact that somebody whistled.
I'm a big fan of mystery whistles. Don't spoil it for me. And we're live. We'll see if anyone shows up here, Lewis. I don't know, man. I mean, it's 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, which means 6 p.m. Eastern, which means 11 p.m. in jolly old England. Oh, we got a few people here. We got Ontario Dicky here. He says, hello. We got Mark T. Let's go. We got Lewis in Android mode. CultCast activated.
quote tweet mode.
Oh, look at this. Jeremy Drennan is here. Am I really live on you guys? With you on you guys? Hopefully you're not live on us. Live with us, maybe. I don't pinch yourself. Does it hurt? So we're coming on early because I can't do the show tomorrow. I'm going to be on an airplane tomorrow. On my way to Florida. Actually, on my way to Georgia. What am I thinking? So we are not going to have a show tomorrow. And I said, you know what, Lewis? Let's do the show a little bit early. We got a lot to talk about. Oh, my goodness. Look at that. We got Chase McLean. Captain Dr. Zach Hicks is here. We got the whole crew here. We're ready to go, Lewis.
Can't even throw him off the trail. The new date.
I can't believe it.
Day.
Mark LaPointe is here.
Impressive.
From Salt Lake, no less. Unbelievable. Yeah, look at this. We got the whole gang here. All right, everyone. We have so much. We're going to just dive right into it. We have so much to talk about. I honestly don't even know if we're going to make it through all this stuff. And tomorrow would have just been worse because all the I was kind of thinking that the review embargoes would all lift today, and I guess they did on some of the iPhones or maybe all the iPhone 14s, but the Apple Watch Ultra, still nothing. Not a peep about the Ultra, Lewis, which is the thing
Lifts tomorrow, supposedly.
Okay, does it? I was going to say, that's the thing I'm most excited about.
Well, actually, I take that back. Supposedly Series 8. I don't know about Ultra. Not sure.
Well,
haven't heard. Haven't heard a specific date.
I mean, it would make sense if they were like sprinkling it out over time. They're like, let's do the 14 first. We'll give that a couple days to breathe. Then we'll do the Series 8. We know no one cares about that, so let's give that a day or two. And then Ultra. We'll give Ultra a whole week.
We were thinking about republishing the Series 7 review and just putting a new headline on it.
Well, that's what Apple did. You know what? I was going to talk about this, but this is not a joke. The CPU in the SoC for the Apple Watch for the Series 8 is the same as the Series 7, which is the same as the Series 6. So I don't know what they're doing to that SoC. They're tweaking it in some small ways, and then they're just changing the name, man. They are literally... It reminds me of this Anthony Bourdain meme where he talked about... actually, this was in the movie... this was in the movie... Wasn't this in the movie... what was it called? Like the Big Cell, or like that one about Steve Carell's in it.
The
Big Short.
The Big Short.
The Big Short. Wasn't that Anthony Bourdain segment in there where he talks about how he would take old fish and he can't sell it, so he chops it up and puts it into a stew with other old fish and serves it as like this brand new thing? That's the meme I was thinking of for the Apple Watch. TC saw that movie clearly.
Spicy salmon sushi.
Oh, it's spicy, all right. It's going to be rumbling in your tummy. The Big Short, yeah. Okay, there we go. Ultra doesn't come out until the 23rd, so embargo. Oh, yeah. You're probably right about that. Yeah. Okay, I don't want to hear nothing about it, Lewis. All right, everyone. So let's get this show rolling. We got a lot to talk about, and we've only got a 30-minute show here, so we got to get this thing rolling, right? Am I right, Lewis? Let me cue up Mrs. You Know Who, and we'll get this thing rolling. Did I start the recording? Whew, I did. I scared myself. I almost scared you too, huh? Oh, you know what? I did not start that recording. Man, I'm all over the place. It's because it's Wednesday.
How many switches you got to flip?
I mean, I get 3 recordings going, not including yours.
Wow.
I have a backup of a backup, and there are shows where I've literally had to rely on my backup's backup because, this is CultCast. There's a lot of things that can go wrong. It's a high-tech show. All right. Let me cue up Mrs. You-Know-Who, and she'll kick us off here. Oh, Mrs. D. Oh, Mrs. D. How are you doing? Oh, very well. Thank you, my dear. Yeah, you seem awfully chipper. Oh, yes. I gave Elkaney a present last night. Oh, really? Was it an Apple Watch Ultra? Oh, no. It was lovemaking. Oh, God. Jeez. I mean, we definitely didn't need to know that, Lewis. I could tell from your facial expression you didn't want to hear that.
Need one of those talk to the hand emojis.
Yeah? I could probably whip one of those up, maybe on my phone or something. All right, let's get everything rolling here. Mrs. D, if you don't mind, I'm glad you had a great time with LK, but we have a lot of stuff to do and not a lot of time to do it. So before we do anything, let me go ahead and get this music rolling, and we'll get the show rolling in. Hello, and welcome to the CultCast, best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Airphone Elijah.
Careful with that there.
Joining me today, he's been blasting metal and spraying Cultimac riders with the hose every 30 minutes to keep them cranking out their far-out event coverage. Doctors say staying awake this long isn't safe, but their productivity has never been higher. He's the managing editor of Cultimac. Lewis Wallace is here.
Ah, it's great. It's great.
Everyone's saying they miss LK in the chat there.
Oh,
Lewis, how is LK?
I had a nice back and forth with him in Slack today.
Oh, yeah? He dropped in between naps?
There's always something. That's the problem. There's always something. There's always an email it leads down a rabbit hole. And then in the middle of that, you'll find another rabbit hole you need to go down.
That's like Leander's last 10 years. It's just been rabbit
holes.
It's
like a professional spelunker at this point.
Did he say if he's going to get like the iPhone 14 or the Apple Watch Ultra? Because, my favorite thing was like he would always get excited to buy all the newest gear, and then he'd be like, well, I'm going to talk about it on the website, which, never happened. But
that's not true. He wrote reviews.
Did he actually write reviews?
Yeah, and I believe he ordered. I don't remember which phone he said he ordered, but
probably the Max.
Got a phone and an Ultra.
Man, I think I'm going Max this year, Lewis.
Yeah,
I think I don't know if that's going to be a mistake because I've gotten the Max in previous years and it's just too big to fit.
Start doing some hand stretches, man.
Oh yeah, I've been working the fingers backwards and stuff. But here's the crazy thing. I know we're kind of getting off to a tangent here right off the bat. So,
shocker.
I was trying to figure out whether or not I should do the Apple upgrade program. And I looked into it. I also looked into the carrier upgrade program, and I'm like, these are all kind of a ripoff to me. I mean, they make it really easy to do, but you're forced to buy Apple Care with Apple. And with AT&T, theirs is like super slimy. There's like all these different rules you have to follow. So their fees per month are a lot lower, but once you dig into it, that's because they stretch your payment out over 36 months, which is their new tactic. And if you want to upgrade your phone, you have to pay off half your phone first. So your payments are low, but if you want to switch in the first year, you're going to owe them money up front to pay off half the balance on your first phone before you could even switch to another phone. And you got to pay them a monthly premium for the privilege of doing that. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to do that. But I was looking at the trade-in value. I don't know if this is the way it's always worked, but Apple is offering me $600 for my iPhone 13 Pro. And I'm like, so I can trade in my Pro to you for $600, and if I bought the 14 Pro, I'm only giving you $400, and since I'm paying you less, the tax is less. So it's $440 to buy the phone in full from you. And that seems like a crazy good deal to me.
I would have to sit down with a spreadsheet and some
that's essentially what I did.
And
some math.
In the end, yeah, right. So in the end, you're saying it's just cheaper to buy it and trade it in.
Oh,
do that every year.
Well, if they're going to give you $600, and for a Max, they give you $720. So if you get the Max, they're actually going to give you more than the extra money that you would have spent to go from the Pro to the Max to trade it back in. And I don't know how Apple's making money doing this, because if I trade in my 13 Pro They give me $600 value for that, so I'm only spending $400 on the 14 Pro. So they're selling me a $1,400 phone or a $1,000 phone for $400, and they're not going to make up the profit on the sale of my 13 Pro. Like, how much is that phone worth in the open market? Maybe $700. So I don't understand what the play is for them.
I think they just want to keep moving iPhones. I mean,
Even if they're losing money, I mean, clearly they're not losing money, but
well, I don't know if that's normally how much they offer on those things. I mean, I remember what was it, Apple Watch Series 4, when I made a snap decision to trade in my Series 3 and get the 4 just because it was so much better and so much different. And it was like, fairly large. I think they gave me $250 for the thing back then. And
wow.
which seems crazy. And I don't think they give you anywhere near that much anymore. I mean, last time I checked, it was like, oh man, that was like they've pulled it back from that sort of.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering what they're going to do next year, because I'm going to go purple Max. I might do it with a purple case. I'm going full on purple rain, and
purple pain, man. You're gonna be all cramped up.
purple nard pain. Yeah, having that thing in my pocket. But my mom has a Max, and I was looking at it, and I was like, I know this is going to be a decision I probably regret, but it is nice having that bigger screen. And I normally wouldn't go purple because I think the resale value is going to be really bad for the purple. But if they'll let me trade it in for $720 next year, like, that's a pretty good deal, especially considering. Now, look, I'm not bragging. I'm just being transparent with you guys. We got a lot of really generous listeners, some of which work for Apple and have offered me discounts. So I'll probably end up getting the Max for $800, or no, the Pro is $850, and the Max I think is like $9. I didn't do the math on that. I don't know. It's 15% off. So, like, let's just go with the Pro example. If I were to trade in my 13 Pro, they give me $600. I get the 14 Pro for $850. So I've just spent $250 for the new iPhone. Like, tell me that's not a crazy good deal.
Sounds pretty good. I don't know.
Sounds like a pretty good deal, right? I mean, and then I'll blow the rest on the Ultra. Apple Watch Ultra.
Have you placed that order yet?
No, I haven't placed it yet.
Yeah.
I'm waiting, because I mean, it's not even going to ship for, and the freaking all the shipment times are all in October now anyway. So I'll probably, when I get back from my trip, I'll probably try to figure it out then. And I have a sneaking suspicion that you'll be able to just order it and go pick it up in store within like a week. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
You might be able to just go get one in the store on any given day.
Or that, because they're going to save a bunch for the store. So we'll see what happens. But that reminds me, a couple of quick announcements here. So for the first time in CultCast history, we're going to miss some shows. I feel justified doing it. It's been almost 11 years that we've been doing this, and I have only ever missed one show. So I'm going to Disney World the next 2 weeks. Lander's clearly not coming on the show, and Lewis, he's too self-conscious about his nose to come do it by himself. I don't know why your nose is so red. I think it might be the white balance. So work on that while I'm gone. Adjust the white balance.
I'll just spend like hours and hours trying to get my amazing home studio
just trying to get
completely dialed in.
Just trying to get that dialed in.
I need that movie star look.
Well, you got that. Now all you need is the lighting, and you're gonna be set.
Yeah, I need someone other than Rip Torn. That's the problem.
Who's Rip Torn?
He's a rough-looking character.
Oh, okay. That's like old movie reference or something from your.
No,
from your
come
past.
on. He's
Rip
not
Torn?
that old. I mean, he was a movie star for a long time.
You know, it does sound familiar, but I can't.
One of the greatest names ever.
I can't picture him. I mean, it is a great name. So no show next week, and then no show the following week. So we're gonna be out on the 22nd and the 29th. So I guess the next show will be October 6th, which, hopefully we don't miss any big news then.
Right.
But
it might be the day of a show.
I mean, I could call in from It's a Small World, and we'll just have that song playing in the background the whole time. I'll just call in from my phone.
Just call in and live stream a video from like that teacup ride.
That would actually be pretty funny if I did that. Yeah. Or I'm just like on Splash Mountain doing the show, and I'm just talking, then all of a sudden I stop and just start going, ah! So I start going down that hill. That'd be hilarious. Anyway, check out the trade-in with Apple. I mean, I don't know. Help me out, chat. Like, have the trade-ins been this generous in the past? I don't know. This seems like the most generous trade-in that Apple's ever done. So it might seem like it might actually be a better deal to trade your phone in and buy the iPhone 14 if you haven't done that already. All right, let's see here. Before we dive in, let me also just give a quick little plug to CultCloth because I know you're all getting new Apple Watches, you're getting new iPhones. Look at Lewis Wallace. Look at how sparkling
If
his
you
glasses.
dare.
Look at how. Try not to look at the space around his around his glasses, like the facial part, but look at the glasses. They are literally glistening. Like he literally cleaned his glasses with CultCloth before he came on, and they look like they're brand new. It's I mean, I honestly cannot believe how great those look.
Just squeaky clean.
They
I
look
can
like
see
if
everything.
you, for the first time, Lewis can see it all. It looks like if you ran your fingers across them and it literally go. "Ee, ee, ee." They actually do look squeaky clean. And if you're someone that cares about the condition of your technology and you want to keep your gadgets looking sparkling clean, your sunglasses, your lenses, check out CultCloth, cultcloth.co, cultcloth.co. Get one of the packs that have all the cloths in it, and use code CultCast at checkout. You'll score yourself an extra carry cloth, which is what Lewis just used, and you'll also get the CultCloth Duo, which is our most powerful cloth, which has like the longer fibers on one side and shorter fibers on the other side, so it's great for cleaning screens and glasses and everything else. Now, look, I will caveat this plug with I I'm involved in the business to a degree that I need to actually be here for these things to ship, which I didn't actually think about until the last couple days. So if you order your CultCloth now, it is not going to ship for probably a week and a half until I get back. So if that happens to you, I'll probably throw in a free cloth for you, just kind of sweeten the deal.
Wow.
But just know that it's going to take probably 7 to 10 days before your order even ships, and then usually it will arrive to you, 3 to 4 days after that because we ship faster than like ground. But I didn't realize that until like yesterday, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to handle this. I'll have to put like a disclaimer on the website or something so people know. And hopefully we don't run out of stock in that time because that will make the problem even worse. But anyway, whenever you buy CultCloth, you get yourself an absolutely fantastic, unique product that is unlike anything else. And you'll be thrilled at how well it keeps all your stuff clean, your television, your cameras. I mean, just everything. And you'll also be supporting me, supporting the show. So check it out, cultcloth.co, cultcloth.co. Lewis, where should we start here?
I'd say we should start at the top.
So
beginning.
perfect. I was going to start in the middle,
We could
like
do
we did last week.
Yeah.
No, let's
go
start at the
Pulp
top.
Fiction.
Let's do it.
Let's start with the end.
Is that what they did in Pulp Fiction?
I don't know. They started
It's been so long.
jumping around. Always jumping around.
I was thinking like the movie Memento. Have you ever seen that?
Oh God.
Where you start somewhere and you don't even know where you are, and then you just meander your way through the whole story, and by the end you're totally confused.
I mean, I like that movie just fine, but those movies kind of give me a migraine.
Yeah. Well, that's usually how this show works too. So I thought we could just continue following
It's
that
usually a pain in another part of my anatomy.
It's the same area that's affected by the iPhone Max, I think. Okay, let's talk about iOS 16. This was like a major story this week, and there's so much, like just really cool features packed into iOS 16. And I dare say this might be my favorite iOS update that we've ever gotten. I mean, some of the biggest, most useful features, some of the most impactful features are included in iOS 16. And shout out to Mac Rumors for putting together a great post on hidden features. We're going to talk about all that as well. But Lewis and I just installed iOS 16 on our phones. Neither one of us were using the beta.
Scared of betas, officially.
And well, there's nothing about you that's beta. That's for sure. Me either. So like we try the alpha, and then we wait for the golden for the golden master, and then we go from there. But we uninstall the betas. So Lewis, any initial thoughts on iOS 16 before we dive into these features here? Like just overall impressions?
Yeah, it seems great. I mean, it seems like there's, in addition to the big marquee things, I mean, and the ones you're going to talk about, it just feels really smooth. And there are little subtle animation differences. It seems like things that work, the same way as they used to, but now they look just a little bit different, a little better. Things kind of like notifications kind of roll up in a certain way and roll down. And I've been finding it very very fun to use. And talking with people about some of the new features like the oh, I don't remember what it's called, but the thing where you cut and paste an image, right? That's
Oh
people.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
People are like, "How do you do that? What are you doing?" I'm like, "Yeah, just do this," and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool the way it works. I mean, I've read about it and heard. We of course saw the demo at the thing. I was like, I mean, it's a little trick, right? But it's pretty awesome how it works and how fast it is.
You're talking about how you can like remove subjects from photos.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You isolate a person or an object from a photo, and it's really fast. And I mean, it's not like a Photoshop quality. You can spend more time making the edges look better. But
Yeah, but in a lot of scenarios, I think it looks just as good as Photoshop. I mean,
well,
when you're isolating subjects from a background, the busier your background is, the harder it is to do that, even manually. And you can have funky results even with Photoshop, and then you can clean it up a little bit in Photoshop. But the results I saw so far from iOS 16, I mean, they're going to be good enough for most people, and the meme lords are going to love it. I mean, this is
oh
going to be
yeah, it's
like
perfect for that.
it's going to make life so much easier for anyone who's just trying to do a quick isolation. You know, the thing that immediately impressed me the most were the new lock screens. This is probably one of my favorite features on in iOS 16. Like I love the fact that it's just a lot cleaner now, and I love that you can have like the dynamic weather lock screen, and that they also have that space one, which shows like a picture of space, depending on like your location. And I love the widgets. I also love that you can just like press and hold on it on the lock screen, and then just like switch back and forth between the different lock screens. And you can change your focus mode on the specific lock screen. So if you're trying to switch into a mode where you don't want to be bothered, you can have a visual indication that you're in a mode with a focus that you want to have set for a specific period of time, right? So like if for the next hour you don't want to be bothered, you don't want to have notifications come through, like if you're filming your iPhone or something, you can just switch to a lock screen that has the focus that you want, and then you can immediately tell that you're in the correct lock screen. And the amount of detail that went into like customizing this and adding your own lock screen with pictures or emoji, actually I thought was staggering. Like they clearly went through and really thought it through. And there's like all the different color palettes now that you can see from all the different seasons, which I didn't even know that they did, which of course makes sense. But they have like color palettes for every season, and you can go back through. And they did this on the new Watch OS 9 as well. So you can like pick different background colors from all the different seasons and like customize your watch face. So like I was totally blown away with that, because I was like, that's immensely useful, and it looks way cleaner than it used to, like with the big impactful time at the top, and then also the widgets that are underneath that. So that was definitely one of my favorite features. Editing and unsending iMessages. I did this today for the first time. Like I sent a message, autocorrect, shocker, screwed it up, right? I thought that, and we'll talk about this. Like the dictation has gotten to be better,
Yeah,
but
that's what I was gonna say.
what did you think
Next.
about that? Because I thought it was noticeably better.
Well, yeah, it doesn't just stop. It stays on, and you can go in and fix something, and it stays on. Yeah, it's way better, way better. I'm not saying the recognition is way better, but the functionality is way better.
Yeah, I think that I'm with you. Like it's also much better with grammar, so it knows where to insert commas, which it never did before.
Kind of. I
Did it
mean,
screw it up for you?
I've
Okay.
had it misplace some commas too, but and it's kind of weird because
Uh-huh.
as you're going along, it's always a period waiting at the end, right? As soon as you stop, the period stays there. It's. I mean, I don't know. I was impressed with it. I think it's way more useful than it was because I happen to use it a lot.
I did too, and it does seem like the dictation feature itself is actually more accurate now. And to me, anyway, it's for the actual placement of commas and stuff. Like it's been doing that perfectly. It hasn't made any mistakes yet.
Good.
I'm sure once the AI kicks on, it will start inserting comments at the beginning of sentences.
Think about it a little more, and then yeah, just overthink it.
Yeah, right. Because that's what happens, right? Like you dictate a sentence and it looks fine, and then the AI goes through and scrubs it, and then it changes everything, capitalizes words that don't need to be capitalized.
Yeah.
Let's see here. What else? Oh man, this is a big one. This is a big one. This might be under the hidden features that we're going to talk about later, but it may not be. So I'm going to just mention this now. You can activate a mode in messages on your phone So if you go to settings and then you go into messages, let's see here. Where is it? I'm trying to find it in real time. Oh, there we go. So settings, messages, and you can churn on. Where is it? Oh, I lost it. I should have been more prepared. Oh, there we go.
Oh
No,
no.
no, no. I found it. Filter unknown senders. Okay. So before, when you turn this on in iOS 15, it would create two groups in your messages. It would show you a group of people that you know and people that you don't know. And now it added a whole new extra category that's just unread messages. So like for me, my group where it's unknown people or known people, the message is just sitting there forever because I don't delete any of them. And so my messages list is just totally cluttered, and I could have unread messages all the way down the list because sometimes I miss them. And the nice thing about this new folder that you have access to is it will only show you messages in there if they're new. So if you go in there, if you just stay in there, whenever you open messages, it will only show you new messages. And then once you've read them, they're gone. So you feel like you've gotten to inbox zero when in actuality, you have these messages that are just being filtered out so you never have to see them again, which to me is a really great feature because it just makes me feel like I have my life in order. You know what I'm saying? It's way more organized than it was before.
Yeah, and this is one of those little. It's a lot of things like this. Little, like just the tiniest quality of life tweak. That's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's not confusing. It's not like, earth shaking, but it makes your experience with the iPhone just like feel that much more polished and good.
Yeah, I feel like I have a brand new iPhone with all the new capabilities that I've gotten. Like now you can remove duplicate photos in the Photos app. If you go to Photos and then scroll down to or go to Photos and then go into Albums at the bottom and then scroll all the way down, you'll see under Utilities there's a new option for duplicates, and you can see it will show you all your duplicate photos, and then you can merge them together so that they're not all taking up space in your Photos library. And soon, they haven't launched this yet, but you'll be able to share your iCloud photo library with other people, which is huge for me. It's like, how did they make it this far without that? I'm married, I have kids, and my wife and I have our own iCloud libraries, and it's actually not easy to share photos with one another without us duplicating all of them. Right now, I have it and you have it. Why can't we just share one library?
Yeah, I'll be curious to hear how that works out. I'm a little nervous about that kind of thing.
What do you mean? Like, it might accidentally delete your photos?
Well, yeah, or you share it and your wife accidentally deletes it. I mean, who knows?
How dare you?
How could that happen?
Your wife would never do that.
No, no.
Let's see here. The Photos app has all kinds of other new features, like the option to copy and paste edits. There is a more secure, hidden, and recently deleted albums that are biometrically locked. So if you have some spicy photos like Lewis keeps, you can lock all those with Face ID so no one can see those. Like that's actually pretty useful for a lot of people. There's a lot more powerful like text recognition features in iOS 16, like video live text. So now, if you have a video, you can pause the video and you can select the text inside of the video, and there is a live what do they call it? Like conversion tool. So if you type like 100 pounds into messages, or you record a sign with pounds or dollars or anything on it.
Currency converter is what
Currency
it's called.
converter, but it doesn't just do currency, does it? I think it also does other kinds of conversions.
Does it do like distances?
I think it does weights. I'm not sure if it does distances, but it wouldn't surprise me if it did. But it definitely does weights, and it also does currency. So if you type in like 100 pounds, you tap on that text in iMessage, and it will give you a bunch of options that you can convert that to live right there in the message, which is pretty handy. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, man, yeah. The one other thing I wanted to mention for marquee features, and then we can dive into all these hidden features, which some of these have kind of been hidden. The weather app now is way more powerful. I don't know if you guys have played around with the weather app, but if you go into the weather app, let's see here. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there you go. So before, when you were using the weather app, you couldn't tap on any of like the boxes of information and get more information. Maybe a couple of them you could. But now I think literally all of them are interactive. So if you tap on like the feels like box, which shows you like what the temperature feels like, it will bring up like this whole chart that shows you what it's going to feel like temperature wise all day. And you can even go like day to day to day and see what the temperature is going to be like on a daily basis. I think like let's see, up to like 6 or 7 days ahead. So all of these little weather widgets are now interactive and show you different measurements over time, like over different days, which is way more useful than just showing you one day. And then of course you can activate the battery meter, the much controversial battery meter.
All right.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
You did? How do you like
Sure.
that? I don't love it, to be honest with you,
It's
but
kind of basic looking, you know. Like I
yeah.
remember there were some nicer designs out
Gosh, I should
there
turn
that
on my yeah. Go
people
ahead.
thought would be a better way of doing it. But yeah, I'm glad to have it back. To be quite honest.
Yeah. So for those of you, I just turned on my focus so I can actually show you this stuff. So like you can just see. Well, that might be too bright, right? So you can see like now you can turn on the percentage in the battery. Unfortunately, though, it means that the battery, I don't even know what to call it, like the filling. The battery filling doesn't change anymore, so it just has a number there instead of like there being a
Really?
meter that shows you how much battery life is
Oh,
left, which I don't love, man. I don't love it. Because it makes you, at a glance, it makes you think that you have full battery
no, that's
when
true. That's true.
you don't. You have, like 70% or 50% or whatever. All right, let's go to this Mac rumor story, and let's talk about some of these hidden features here, guys, because there's a ton of
Ooh,
stuff in here. I mean,
hidden.
we can't even go through all this stuff. There's way too much stuff in here.
You've already done some of this.
And we already have done some of this.
Oh,
AirPods updates.
oh,
Yeah?
what a long time coming that is.
No kidding, right? So
I mean,
now it will tell you what's actually been updated in AirPods updates, but I don't think that's what this is. What were you going to say, Lewis?
I was gonna say like, everybody has AirPods. It's
Yeah.
incredibly popular product, and yet these settings were hidden. You had to know to go into Bluetooth and tap on the thing. It was just always so clunky. So this is great. I can't see it right now because I don't have any AirPods connected, but it's awesome that they gave it its own thing. It's almost like, honestly, didn't you feel like that should have been there from the get go? Isn't it a little astonishing it took them this long to add that kind of
I
information?
feel like that about all sorts of features, actually. There's all sorts of features where I'm like, how did they just get to this now? So let's see here. It's simpler to manage AirPods in iOS 16. I'm just reading from this Mac rumor story here. With a dedicated section that pops up in the settings app when AirPods are connected. iOS 16 also adds a personalized spatial audio feature that uses the true depth camera to scan your ears. I'm looking forward to trying that out. Might be the
Yeah,
first time I ever use LiDAR.
I've never tried that, and I haven't got around to trying a lot of this stuff just because there's so much going on, but.
Oh, here's a big one.
But but just the fact that you can go into the settings now and the AirPods are right there and you don't have to go searching for it. Because I have a list of 20, 30 Bluetooth things, right? It's a giant pain.
Oh, you have
Or,
that much
or it
stuff
was.
connected? Wow.
Well, not
Bluetooth
connected at
King.
any one time, but potentially connected, right?
Yeah, I got
On
you.
on the list.
On the list. I got it. Face ID now works in landscape mode, and I saw an example. Shout out to Greg's Gadgets, who went trending this week. Go, Greg. He did a iOS 16 video, much like what we're doing here, but he made it into trending. His video is blowing up. But he was doing some examples of Face ID, and he was just changing the orientation of his phone. And I swear that dude went 360 degrees, and now Face ID just works no matter how you hold your phone. So if you're flying through the air upside down, on a snowboard, I think it's still going to work,
Wow.
which is useful, if you use your phone in other orientations. Hidden and deleted photo protection. Yeah, I mentioned that. So you can authenticate with Face ID or Touch ID if you want to keep that stuff hidden. Oh man, this is a feature I could have used this last weekend. So I got my mom a new iPad, right? I take the iPad to her house and I'm trying to get it set up for her. We don't know the Wi-Fi password. She doesn't know the Wi-Fi password. It's stored on my phone, but you can't look it up on your phone. If you had a MacBook Pro with you, you can do that in keychain access, but you can't do it on the phone. So I was like, surely there has to be a way to do this. I wasted like 45 minutes trying to figure out what the password was. I'm like texting my brother to figure out if he knows, and I do a search, and it comes up as I get a result that I'm like, shows you how to do it, and it says you have to have iOS 16, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like a week away from iOS 16. So in iOS 16. You can now go and look to see what your Wi-Fi passwords are because they're stored on your phone, obviously. You could always do this on a Mac, or at least you've been able to do it for a long time. If you want to do it on your phone, just go to settings and then tap on Wi-Fi, and then if you click on the little eye next to your network that you're trying to join, or that you are joined to, that you have stored, I guess, it will show you the password right there, and you can click on the little dots, and it will authenticate you, and then it will show you the Wi-Fi password.
That's weird. I don't see an eye. You see an eye icon?
Next to your Wi-Fi, I guess you don't have to tap the eye. It's like a little informational icon. You can
Oh,
just tap on the.
I thought you meant it was like a eyeball.
Oh
You
no.
meant it led the
Oh
letter I.
no.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, all it does is just authenticate with Face ID, and then there it is. I mean, it's another thing. Like, how did you live without this? I mean, I've had that same problem. It's like, oh yeah, well, I can't remember what the password is. It happens all the time. We go to a darts bar, right? And we all play darts. We use our iPads, and every bar you go to, it's like, oh, what's the Wi-Fi? Uh, I don't know. I mean, you can share the password with somebody, but you can't tell them what it is because you don't know. You don't remember it 'cause you added it to your thing 14
Right.
years ago.
Right. Yeah. And for some reason, you can do it in Keychain on the Mac, but you haven't. I don't think you've never been able to do it on iOS, and it's something that people often need to see their Wi-Fi passwords, especially normies, like guys like us. We can figure out what the Wi-Fi password is, right? Like, there's ways to do that, but like a lot of people, especially if they have a modem that they bought from Comcast and they just use the password that came with it, they have no idea what their password is, and they don't even know how to look. So this is going to help out a lot of people. Let's see. One of the other hidden features: copy and delete screenshots. So when you take a screenshot in iOS, and you save the screenshots to photos, or save it as a quick note or something, you'll now have a button to copy and delete, so you don't have to store that dang screenshot. That's pretty.
Another quality of life improvement.
And this
I
list
used
is
that
huge.
today. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Oh, you did?
And,
Really? I'm gonna use it
I
right
mean,
now.
you know, you could always delete it before, but it was like an extra step, and
Yeah,
you had to be sure to do it. And now it's just simple: copy and delete. Boom, done.
I'm doing it right now. I'm gonna try it. Let's
It's
see.
great. Works great, and
Copy. Yep.
it just removes a cumbersome step.
Oh, you can also rename it right there. Is that
You've always been able to rename
okay?
screenshots, and then you can save them into files or wherever you want. But you know, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're just sending it to somebody to show them something, right? And
Yeah.
that's what I do with work. But I looked the other day. I have like 2,000 screenshots in my
What?
library. I because I
What is
use them all
wrong?
the time. Like, hey, why did you do this? I would never
Oh,
say anything
so
quite like that.
it's you save it as evidence before you chastise someone
it,
and
yeah,
discipline them.
we need to do something about this right here.
And
Yeah,
by
no,
we,
that's so
mean
it's
by we.
great. That's a great little feature.
All right, let's see here. What else we got? Ability to delete Find My, Clock, and Health. If you want to delete those, now
Is
you
that a
can.
feature?
I mean, if you want to get them off if you're super anal and you want to get those things off your phone, I feel like that's something you might be happy about. We already talked about this one: built-in currency conversion. Does this say anything about other kinds of conversions that you can do? Oh, it also supports translation
And
and
measurement.
measurement conversion. There you go. Okay. You can see your battery percentage in iOS 16. Yep, we spoke about that one. You can use Siri to hang up on a call if it understands you. That is.
I mean, that one seems odd. I mean, can you imagine you're on a phone call with somebody and you say, "Hey, hang up"?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Way to censor
weird.
yourself there.
I guess maybe that would come in handy in CarPlay, for instance.
Yeah, if you can't get to your phone, for sure, that would be handy. Let's see. You can prevent accidental hangups. You will have the ability to disable the side button from ending an active call now.
I didn't even know that would do that. I guess I've never made that mistake.
That was actually a pro tip. Like, if someone's calling you, it took me probably 8 years to figure this out. If someone's calling you, if you press the volume buttons, it silences the call. But if you double tap the power button, it just hangs up on them. So I use that all the time, especially when Leander calls me. Let's see here. Sorting options for playlists. Oh, okay, we're getting into the nitty gritty now. In Apple Music and iOS 16, users will now have the ability to sort playlists by title, artist, album, and release date. Oh my, how powerful. The new sorting option can be found by pressing the three dots in the upper right-hand corner when viewing a playlist.
It's actually helpful, though, I gotta say. And it's another one of those things like how could playlists have been so difficult to work with before? They
I,
finally got around to fixing it.
I think Spotify has had this for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure they have. I mean, it's hard to it was sometimes hard to believe how it worked in the past, right? Like, really, like I have to go find this. I have to scroll and scroll and scroll to get to the. I don't know,
You can now go full screen with the music player,
which is
but
fun.
yeah, one major but possibly lesser known feature of iOS is that Apple's bringing back the full screen lock screen music player. I think we all knew that. When listening to a song from Apple Music, Spotify, or other third-party music apps, press on the album art on the lock screen from the now playing to enter the all-new player. Look, you know what? I actually didn't know how to invoke this feature.
It's pretty complicated.
Well, I mean, tapping on the album art is actually, I don't feel like a really obvious UI transaction.
I don't know. I mean, you want to see all you're looking at is a bigger album cover art, right? I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me.
We got
Lots
Dead
of
Ed in the
tapping.
chat saying that sorting in the playlist was so needed. Someone's happy about that. There you go.
It's true.
Oh man, it's just the little things you take for granted when you're in Spotify.
Jeez.
Although I mean I make fun of Apple Music, but the audio quality in Apple Music is unparalleled. It just sounds so much better than Spotify does. It's not even close. It's like night and day. Night and day. In fact, I'm even considering taking my AirPods Max on the plane with me tomorrow. I literally never use them. Literally.
Considering? Come on, this is your big chance.
I know, but
charge those babies up and
I
strap
did.
them on.
I charged them up. I'm like, are these things even still alive? They just sit on the shelf.
Haven't used them in 6 months.
I put them on my ears to make sure that they actually still worked.
Jeez.
And I'm gonna take them on the plane and the what do you call it? The background noise processing. Help me out here. What's the term?
Noise cancellation.
Noise cancellation. Thank you.
Active noise cancellation.
Active noise is.
Wow, you are ready for that vacation.
Oh, well, I've been ready for that for like 3 months. It's unparalleled, right? But they're so heavy, and to have to wear those on the plane for 5 hours, even just to bring them, to cart them along with you for the plane ride, I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot of weight to carry around, you know?
Just wear them. It's no big deal.
Around your neck?
Yeah.
What do you think? I'm like a professional basketball player or something?
Okay. Exactly.
Not a cool look for me.
Exactly. Get yourself a hoodie. Put your headphones around. You're all set.
I'm gonna get a tracksuit actually, like a LA Lakers tracksuit. Let's see. I don't have time to do that, unfortunately. Let's see. Spatial audio just for you. Yeah, we talked about this one. I'm really curious to see how well this works with the latest AirPods and some Beats earphones. I wonder if this works on regular AirPods or if this is only AirPods Pro. iOS 16 users can activate spatial audio by using LiDAR to scan their ear. You'll need an iPhone 12 Pro, 13 Pro, or 14 Pro to scan the geometry of the user's ear in order to deliver a spatial audio experience. Okay. And then here's the last one here. New warning while charging. On iOS 16, if your iPhone is warm, you'll get a new notification letting you know that the charging will be paused until your iPhone's temperature cools down.
Hadn't seen that. Or I'm sorry, I haven't seen that yet.
And one other one along these same lines is if you try to connect a pair of AirPods that are like knockoffs, Apple will warn you that they're knockoffs. So if you buy something from some shady dude on Craigslist or eBay and they're not real, Apple will actually warn you about that. I think you can actually still use them. I didn't even know this is a thing. Like, have people reverse engineered like the AirPods and created some that actually work the way AirPods do? I thought the whole point of AirPods
Never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, is that they just work seamlessly with all your devices. Like, has someone created a counterfeit version of AirPods that actually work the way AirPods do, where they connect to all your devices? I don't think so.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that. Have to look into it.
Let's see here.
You know, you skipped one.
Did I?
Yeah. Haptic feedback for the keyboard.
Oh man, I forgot
How
about
did you
that one.
forget that?
Thank you. I turned that on actually.
Yeah, it's pretty subtle.
It's a very light tap. But if you go into, let me see if I can remember. You go into settings, obviously, and then you go into keyboards, I think.
Yeah, and you say enable haptic.
Enable taptic. So every time you tap a key, haptic. Every time. Well, Apple calls it taptic, isn't it?
No, the taptic engine is in the watch. haptic feedback. They don't
I
call it
thought the
taptic.
taptic engine was also in the trackpad.
I don't know about that. I mean, I remember when they launched it with the watch. I don't know if they call it a taptic engine in the. Oh, geez. Now do I have to go searching again and to go like totally like robot mode?
You can go search it, and while you're doing that, oh, there's a couple more. Yeah, there's a couple more I wanted to mention.
I
So,
I
yeah,
take it all back.
was I right?
You're right. I'm sorry. I
I was
take it
gonna
all back.
say we're talking Phil Schiller here, man. He doesn't just name things normal things. A15, A16, Bionic, and remember he said he literally added the Bionic because he thought it made it sound cooler, and people and like focus groups responded to that. So it doesn't actually do anything. It's not actually fancy in any way. Let's see here. Some other features that you guys will be interested in, and this is like a iPhone Master Race feature right here. If you are, or I should say, fanboy Master Race, because if you have the iPhone and you also have an Apple Watch, guess what? You're getting better battery life than all the other plebs out there. Because when you have the Apple Watch on your wrist and you have the iPhone 14 Pro, thank you. The always on display will not be always on when you're not in the room because it will know when you're not around, and so it will shut the screen off. Talk about a subtle but smart feature. And what does that mean? It means better battery life for you because your screen's not going to be sitting there on when you're not even in the room. That's pretty special, Lewis.
That is smart. I hadn't even heard about this feature until you put it in the notes.
And one last one here. Let me see if I can load this. iOS 16 does not kill iPhone performance on older iPhones
Is that a feature?
or battery life.
I guess it's a feature. I mean,
Well, I mean, a lot of people, they install the newer version of iOS and their phone doesn't run as well. Their battery life isn't as good. And I think it's kind of a feat that they've added all of these features and it's still, at least what we've seen so far, it doesn't affect performance or battery life on iPhone 11, iPhone 12, iPhone 13.
yeah. In fact, I don't know if you read that story, but I mean, some of them actually perform better on iOS 16 than
What?
iOS 15.
What?
Some of the older, it's weird. It varies by model. Like this one is slightly better. This one is, if it's worse, it's always like 3% less or something. I mean, it's very close on these benchmarks. But yeah, I was kind of surprised. Like certain ones, even older iPhones, work a little better. It's kind of weird.
Wow, that's amazing. See, it's all the small stuff. It's all the small stuff. This is why we're fanboys, Lewis. Because you think Samsung's considering this for all their phones? You think you're gonna get an update on a Samsung phone? Oh, it's gonna work better. You're gonna have new features. Now that's funny. Let's see here. Is there anything else I wanted to mention? Oh yeah, one other thing. When you update to iOS 16, there's one other thing you're gonna get that you may not have realized. You're gonna get an update for HomePods. Now that is interesting, isn't it? You're gonna get an update for Apple's discontinued HomePod, the original HomePod and the Mini, and that got me thinking about HomePod yesterday. And I was telling Lewis before the show. I know I say this a lot, but I really mean it. I figured out Apple's master plan. I figured out exactly what happened. I think, okay? And I'm going to use a real estate analogy. When you have a house sitting too long on the market, Lewis, do you know what they do usually?
Typically, they drop the price.
Well, they drop the price.
Take it off the market.
They take it off the market. And then what do? A few months down the line, they put it back on the market, right, with a new price or some kind of new way of promoting it. I think that's exactly what Apple's plan is here. They were never planning on discontinuing the HomePod. What had happened was they released it. The price was too high. They lowered it. It still wasn't selling well. And they knew they had an update coming down the line. And what they wanted to do is cleanse people's palate. So they're like, let's pull this thing off the market. It's not selling. And we will re-release it when we have an updated version of it. And because it's been off the market, it's going to create a clamor. People are going to be interested in it. Whereas if they didn't do that, because HomePod had been sitting around for so long, They release an update. Well, people, what are they going to be inclined to do? They're going to just ignore it. They're not interested in HomePod because it's not selling well. It's not what they want. But if you pull it off, it goes away entirely, and then you re-release it as this brand new thing. Now all of a sudden you got the interest back, you got the attention back, the press is back. Well, the press would have been there anyway. But I think that's what they're going for here, which is why they keep updating the HomePod. And now we're hearing rumors that there is another OG HomePod on the way, an updated model that's going to be different than the one that we have or that we did have. What do you think about that, Lewis?
Well, what I want to know is what's in that thing. Have you figured it out? Does anybody know? I haven't read anything about what's actually in this update.
Well, we don't know that.
And you think they've got some killer feature that they're going to unleash?
I think that they probably have. Well, I don't know if it's going to be a killer feature or if they are just re-architecting it so that they can drop the price. But I do think that it will probably be a mixture of both. Like, so the price will be lower, and it might have some features that the other one didn't have. Like, we've heard that it's going to have a new screen of some kind, like a screen on the top. So maybe they'll weave in some more features or something like that. Or maybe they don't drop the price, but they add some more premium features to it. I think they're going to have to drop the price because as much as I thought and many of us thought that the price was totally worth it, $350 for a smart speaker, for one single smart speaker that they're trying to sell in a pair. Now you're spending, $800 including tax. I just, that's a tough sell.
I just slide in a U1 chip and call it a day. Delete a couple of tweeters.
Add a couple tweeters. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're going to do, but I do think that was the strategy. Like, this thing just wasn't selling well, and they're like, okay, we gotta start fresh. So let's pull it off the market. We'll continue working on this unit that we have going, and then once we've got it perfected, we will come at it again, re-release it. It will be this brand new thing. They may even tweak the name a little bit so it seems different, but in spirit, it's going to be that thing that we've all been waiting for. What do you think about that, chat? Adam Broussard? Yeah. That's the answer to your question. I don't want to hear nothing about it, Lewis. I think that's all of the iOS 16 stuff. I mean, we could probably do a whole hour just on iOS 16. And I'm looking at the time here, and we may have almost done that.
Did you see people complaining about that little search box?
No, I didn't, but I did think it was a little bit of an odd placement, a little bit intrusive. Well, I don't mind it.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me. I mean, you can make it go away. And to be honest, I think it's kind of smart that they did it because, I mean, how many people didn't know that they could access that search, right?
And you're talking about the search that is right above the dock.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a little tiny search box there that it's the same as if you swipe down from the top. You can still access it that way. Thank God they didn't eliminate that, which we've all been using.
Yeah, I'm glad that they allow you to do both because I use the search all the time. That's the primary way that I launch apps, to be honest.
Yeah,
I just pull down.
Me too. And I was asking my wife about, oh, did you try this? She's like, oh, that's it. Oh, she had never. I don't think she knew how to do it. I don't think she knew the swipe down. That's the problem with a lot of these gestures. Unless you actually spend time looking into it, I mean, it's a little bit of a hidden thing, right?
Yeah, one of the gestures I always forget. Let's see here. How do I do it? I always forget how to do it. If you're scrolling through your screens of icons, right? There was a gesture that you could do that would take you all the way back to the beginning of the screen. And I can never remember what it is. I'm trying to find it here live on the show, and yeah, I can't remember. But yeah, there's a lot of them that are built in that you would not maybe figure out naturally, and you kind of stumble across them sometimes, and maybe you could figure out how you did it, but maybe not. So yeah, for the normies, it gives them a way to know that there's a search box right there, which is probably why they did it. Swipe up. Thank you. Swipe up. Okay. It's not working for me though. Did they change it? So yeah, if you scroll over 3 or 4 or 5 screens, before, if you swiped up, it would take you all the way back to the start, but it's not working for me anymore.
I never
Tap the middle of the top. That did nothing. Are you guys just trolling? You guys are just trolling me now, I think. They're just making. They're like, do the swirl. Do this. Put your finger on it and swirl. Swirl. So I'm like, no, it's not working. My phone's shutting down. Anyway, there you go, my friends. They're all the marquee iOS 16 and hidden features. Hopefully, you learned a couple things that you might find useful. There's a lot more that we could talk about, but we could do a whole show on this. So we don't have time because we have these other stories that we need to talk about. So let's move on. But before we do that, Lewis, do you want to do the giveaway real fast before we
Yeah,
move on
yeah,
to the October event?
sure. This week it's perfect timing. We've got a giveaway this week. We're giving away 3 iPhone 14 cases from Ilago, which is one of our favorite Apple accessory makers. We got a bunch of stuff of their stuff in the Cultimax store. They're the people who make those really cool like AirPods cases that look like vintage Macs and things like that. Anyway, they also make iPhone cases, and I don't know that we've ever done this. So we're going to pick 3 winners, and then the 3 winners are going to get to choose which iPhone 14 case they want
Oh, that's nice. So that way
from the
they'll get
entire Ilago lineup. So, well, I don't know if it actually is it from the lineup that's available from our store or just the entire. I'm not sure about that. I'm sure you can read the terms and conditions on the giveaway, which you can find by going to the Cult of Mac website, scrolling down to the giveaway area. You'll see the big headline says, sign up to win a Ilago iPhone 14 case. Click on that. Sign up for our email list. Sign up for there's different ways you can get entries. Get all the entries you want at the end of I think this is running for like a week. So, mosey over there sooner rather than later. And this is your chance to win a free iPhone 14 case. Probably not going to show up before your iPhone 14, but soon enough.
I think for the first time ever, Lewis, I'm
Yeah.
gonna spend the absurd amount of money that Apple wants for their own cases.
Oh,
They're genuine cases. I was gonna get the leather one actually, but I was telling you I take my phone in the shower with me all the time.
not going to work out well.
That's probably not gonna work out very well. Which Lewis was surprised to hear. He was like, "Why do you take your phone in the shower?" I'm like, "Well, do you know how much I make on OnlyFans?" No, because I watch YouTube videos all the time, and when I'm not watching YouTube videos, I'm listening to them. And I used to have like a shower speaker, and finally I was like, "This is dumb. My phone is waterproof. I'll just take my phone in the shower."
Sheesh.
So now I do that.
Do you have like a MagSafe shower mount?
No, but that's a great idea. I have like a shower, like a metal shower caddy connected to the shower,
Mhm.
spigot. So it just sits there, and I can position it at the perfect angle. Actually, funny enough, so this is even better. You'll love this. I used to have a shower mirror. Like, remember Sharper Image?
Yeah.
I used to have a Sharper Image shower mirror. This thing was like so high tech. You connect it to your shower water, and it would spray water like through the mirror, so like it wouldn't fog up. And I loved this thing. Actually, I used it for years and years and years until it basically just like completely fell apart. And so I was looking to buy a different one. And I was like, looking at all the shower mirrors on Amazon and stuff, and they were all cheap and just cheap garbage. And I was like, you know what? When my rear view mirror on my POS BMW broke, I used my iPhone in a phone holder as my rear view mirror, which actually worked pretty well.
Really?
Yeah, I just put it in one of those like iPhone holders on my I attached it to my window, like right where my rear view mirror went, and I just turned on the camera and I could see behind me. It was great.
That is nuts.
So I mean, it wasn't as good as a mirror was, but so I was like, I'm gonna just try to use my phone. So now, whenever I usually shave. This is probably TMI. Like I shave in the shower, so I just turn on my camera and just swap the cameras to the front facing camera, and I use that to shave, and it works great. So like I actually, and also when you do that, pro tip, when you're listening to a video and you turn on your camera, it will pause the video, and the only way to unpause it, this is a major pro tip, because you can't do it in the video player like on YouTube. If you have like the picture in picture mode activated, it won't let you do it from there. You have to swipe down from the top right and hit play in the player in the control in the little widget control, and then it will play the video again, so you can watch the video as the camera's going.
So you're sitting there, you're shaving in the shower, staring at your iPhone, and watching a YouTube video
Yeah.
all at once.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good way to cut off your nose.
It works great, man. like it. I mean, it works just as good as my mirror did, and the mirror gets all like soapy and stuff, so you don't have to clean it all the time, and this doesn't do that anyway. Mega tangent, ultra tangent, some would say. So here's what I decided to do. I think I'm going to go the 14 Pro Max, and I can't believe that I've decided to do this, but I think I am going to go purple. And the reason is because Apple's silicon cases are some of the most beautiful cases that I think that they've ever released. Like the colors are really, really, really beautiful. And it's the phone case combo is so nice together that I actually think it's worth the money for me this year. I don't know.
Kind of like
Yeah,
Garanimals.
what?
You remember Garanimals?
That rings a bell. What is that?
It's like color matched clothing for kids.
Oh,
Way
really?
back in.
How do
yeah,
you
it was
know
a
that?
while ago. Well, because I used to be a kid once. Long time ago.
Purple's gonna have the lowest resale value. Yeah, I think you're
Oh,
probably
come on,
right
really?
there. That's Streamline from the chat. I think that's probably true. But here's the thing, and I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show, is Apple is offering so much money for trade-ins now that it doesn't matter what color you get. Now, this is presuming they do trade-ins again the same way they were doing it this year. Like they're gonna give me $620 or $600 for my iPhone 13 Pro, and they say that if you have a 13 Pro Max, they'll give you $720. So if I can just buy the iPhone 14 Pro Max and trade it in for $720 next year, like that's actually a pretty good deal, in my opinion. So it doesn't matter what color it is, but I'm kind of hoping. Do you guys know what the trade-in value was last year? Does anyone remember? Thank you, Control Center. Thank you. I was searching for that word. Wesley Davenport's going with white and silver. God, yeah, that's a thing, man. The other reason that I'm thinking about going purple, I'm doing Purple Rain, is because I'm just so sick and tired of space gray and white and silver and gold. It's like every year I get the same phone, and it feels like I'm not getting a new phone because it looks exactly the same. So I just want to do something different. I've dazzled you with my wittiness.
I went purple too.
Did you?
Yeah.
All right. That
I
makes me
mean,
feel better.
I just want to see what it looks like, if nothing else. I mean, the bottom line is I'm going to put a case on it anyway. I mean, as I don't know. We'll see. What are you going to do? I mean, the other ones are like, I don't know. It just seems so normal and so usual and so been there, done that. I don't know.
Let's just take a look at these. Oh boy, these leather ones are so beautiful. Like this is the look for me. This is their leather case. What color is this? Does it say?
Plum or something. Oh, ink.
Ink. Yeah,
Ink.
so it's like a purplish blue. Like that color leather case with the purple phone inside. That's a hot look.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing leather. We talked about that. $49 for a silicone case is just ridiculous, outrageous. But look at that purple color right there.
Elderberry.
Elderberry. Looks nice. IMO.
Yeah, $50, man. I don't know. I bought a silicone case for the 13, first time ever, from Apple, and it's got all kinds of divots out of it. And,
Really?
yeah,
I kind of feel like it's not going to be protective enough too.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think that you really need a phone case to protect it. I mean, they're pretty durable now, and
I feel like I absolutely, positively do need a case. I drop my phone all the time, Lewis.
yeah, I mean, the reason I got one was because of the camera. You know how far the camera protrudes, and it's only going to be worse this year, right? Like how
Yeah.
far that sticks out of the back of the phone. So getting a case makes me feel like I'm not slamming the camera down on whatever I set it on every single time. That's the only reason. I mean, I don't think from like well, I don't know. Yeah, you can break them, but I mean, Lander says he's dropped his multiple times and is no real problems. And there is that old saying, Apple Care Plus is my case.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Apple Care Plus is it's just kind of a scam in my opinion. Like it's good if you are someone that tends to break phones, but it's so expensive up front. Like it's $100 for Apple Care Plus, and then I think it's $80 for every single incident you have, and it's like, geez, like you're spending $180 like the very first time you have an issue. That's a lot, man. So for me, I'm like, just get a good case and you won't have to worry about it. My favorite case of all time as many of you all know.
Here we go again.
I'm gonna plug them. I'll keep plugging them. Although, I have to say I'm probably gonna skip this case this year because the camera situation is just getting out of control. It's making this case less usable. I'll just show you. So the case is the Rhino Shield Crash Guard, and it's the last true bumper. Can you guys see me? There we go. So here it is, right? So here's my case, and what I love about it is it's an actual bumper. Like you can actually the phone's right there, right? Like the back is totally open, and it allows you to like continue enjoying the design of your phone without having a bunch of plastic covering the whole phone. The buttons are super clicky. They still work great, which is always one of the things that really annoys me about cheap cases is the buttons don't work very well. But you can see with this clown car of a camera that they put on here, the way that Rhino Shield compensated was by making the back extend out farther on the back of the bumper. But the problem with this solution is it extends all the way around the phone, even around parts of the phone that are not next to the camera. So you have this massive lip. Like this is probably like a quarter of an inch extended past the back of the phone. So it makes the phone like way bulkier. Now, in some instances, I like it because it gives you like a little ridge to put your finger against, which makes your phone easier to hold. But this year's camera is going to be even bigger. And so what are they going to do? They're going to make this stupid ridge on the back even bigger. And I can't do it, man. Like this is big enough. Like this case is really like this, like because it doesn't have a back on it, they make it really bulky on the front and the back. And so it just makes your phone feel bulkier. Now I will say, this bumper, I have dropped this phone in major spills more times than I can count, and my phone has come out spotless every single time. So the protection on this bumper case is fantastic. It really works well. As good as, and probably better than a lot of cases. Like, it definitely works better than a silicone case. Like a silicone case, that's going to protect you from light spills, but if you have like a major spill where you accidentally like tumble and your phone's flying through the air and lands on gravel, I question how well the silicone is going to work. Whereas this case, man, it's like it just takes a beating, and it still looks good. And they make them in all sorts of great colors. If they put out a really nice purple, I might go that route. But I'm planning on doing the Max with the silicone case.
Purple glitter.
Oh,
that's
man.
what you're looking for.
You know me. If anyone releases a high quality glitter case, unfortunately most of the glitter cases out there are like cheap, back alley Shanghai garbage. But if someone released a nice glitter case, I would probably buy that every single time, man. Purple glitter, purple rain. They'd get sued, but it'd be worth it. Let's see here. We're all over the place, Lewis. This show is just
spiraling out of control.
It's spiraling. Yeah, well, we were out of control right when we started. The one thing I wanted to mention is just a little bit of fun news here before we dive into. Oh no! Wait a second. We actually haven't done the Apple October event, so let's do that first.
Well, we just finished the September event.
I know. That's old hat, man. No one wants. No one's trying to hear about the September event anymore.
Forget about the past. Let's talk about the future.
You keep talking about the past. I want to know about the future. And we got a lot of new hardware. Like, Les, do you think that Apple is done releasing stuff? I mean, the Christmas season's upon us. The holiday season's here. And Apple's going to make sure all of their best gadgets are available for purchase, well ahead of Thanksgiving.
Nothing to stop the machine.
Oh, yeah. Not TC's machine. Those gears don't stop. If you fall in, you're getting ground up.
Right. Yeah. So, leaks have been coming out for a while now about new MacBooks and iPads, and that's typically what these events in October are going to be around, and that's what almost undoubtedly that's what's happening. Probably going to get M2 Pro and M2 Max processors in the laptops, maybe in the iPad. I don't know.
I mean, most likely. iPad Pro?
Let's see. Supposedly they're going to have the same designs, these MacBook Pros, the same as a one from 2021. Great design. No reason to change it just yet, right? Just put a better chip in it.
It's literally going to be exactly the same.
Let's see. It's also going to get us closer to Mac OS Ventura. You're going to release that probably right along the time they release these MacBooks, probably next month. And iPad OS, 16 is coming out around that same time too, right? That's already been delayed. We all know that because of the do we want to call them problems they've been having with Stage Manager, the complaints they've been facing, the
Ah,
general lack of respect for Stage Manager.
the issues. Actually, I saw a demo of Stage Manager in macOS Ventura, and I was like, on the Mac, it actually seems like it's kind of useful, but you have a lot more screen real estate on the Mac, so maybe that's why. On the iPad, though, like even Gurman wasn't impressed.
Yeah, everybody.
Even Renee Ritchie. Actually, Renee Ritchie probably thinks it's amazing, but
I've heard a lot of people talking about like, thank God you can turn Stage Manager off.
oh, I don't know about that. I'm looking forward to trying it out. I think it will be useful in the Mac, but I am a little dubious about iPad.
Yeah. So let's see. Supposedly iPad Pro is going to have MagSafe. What? MagSafe?
Yeah, I'm waiting to see how that manifests.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. And this is another one. I never really heard more about this, but there's a report not that long ago saying there's going to be a couple of mystery ports on the iPad
Yeah.
Pro.
Okay.
So mystery port. Hey, I'm up for a mystery port, aren't you?
I'm always up for a mystery. Yeah.
Who's not? Let's see. Yeah, as I mentioned, iPad OS 16 is delayed. Let's see. There's also a possibility we're going to get a new entry-level iPad 10 with a wider screen.
Definitely. They're
but
clearing
with
out
the
the
home
iPads.
button.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
They're clearing out iPads like crazy right now. I don't know if you've seen all the deals. Like I bought my mom an iPad, like the regular iPad, for $259.
Wow.
And
That's quite a deal because that's quite a machine.
yeah, and it replaces her 2014 iPad Air 2, I think she had, and I got it for no tax as well. It was like a sale on like one of those military websites that my friends in the military, so I was able to get that discount. But like I saw Best Buy sell it for $269, so it's like, that those deals are out there everywhere. But when you buy from this military website, they don't charge you sales tax.
Did you steal someone's valor?
No, it wasn't stolen valor. It was I don't know what you call it, borrowed valor maybe. I don't know, but it's not
Valor on loan.
loaner valor. But if they're making the hookup for you, I don't think it's
Right.
I'm not sure what kind of valor lending system that is, but I think that one might be authorized.
Other big rumors, it might finally get rid of the Lightning port on the iPad 10. Replace that with USB-C.
That would be exciting, man. I'm done with Lightning. I'm just done with it. Like I was thinking about buying some Lightning cables for my trip that I'm going on because I need some Lightning cables, USB-C to Lightning cables, and I'm like, why waste the money? Like why waste the money at this point? We're on our way out.
Yeah, you got another year of it though. Your iPhone.
Yeah, but you're not trying to buy new cables now with only a year left of Lightning. And those Lightning cables, the best part, are going to become like just totally worthless.
Yeah,
all the money you spent on all that stuff.
Kind of wild, huh? End of an era. By the way, I don't know if you saw, this was the 10-year anniversary of Lightning. This week was the 10-year anniversary.
I did not know that. We missed the celebration.
We had a fine. We celebrated by having an editorial like "Time to pull the plug," because it's true. I mean, it's now. We're now at the point where every time you get ready to go somewhere, you gotta look at the charger you have, you gotta look at the cables, you gotta come up with the right combination of everything, right? Like, oh, I gotta have an Apple Watch thing, and do I have the Apple Watch with USB-C or it's maddening. And then you can end up in the situation as I've had it happen. Here I am out of town. I got to go to a store and buy XYZ cable, which I have 5 of them at home, but I just didn't happen to bring the right combination with me. Very frustrating.
That's why I was happy to see what they did with the AirPods Pro 2, allowing you to charge those with your Apple Watch charger. I'm like, dude, that's just so handy.
That was a surprise.
That product, that AirPods Pro 2 are actually, they're almost perfect. Like everything that I wanted is in that product. The only reason I won't buy them is because of the ear tips. If they just released that exact product without ear tips, I would have bought them.
Maybe you could get some plastic ear tips, like Tony Iommi's fingertips, replacement. for the silicone.
Like
Just
regular
little.
AirPods ear tips, they're just
Yeah,
plastic.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is how we make money.
I mean, I get
Can't stand silicone in your ears? Want AirPods Pro too? Get Airphone Buds.
Earth buds.
Airpods.
Airphone right up in your ears. Just the way you like him. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that would sell, but I would definitely be interested in it because I get why they have those tips in there. They want active noise cancellation, and they also want passive. I mean, I get it, man. They're probably great, but they just make my canals ache. I can't do it.
Didn't they come out with a smaller one this time? Maybe
Yeah, they
that's
did
the
come
answer
out
for
with.
you.
Yeah, you know what? You might not be wrong about that. Like maybe I get the extra smalls.
Maybe they heard you.
Well, we know TC's an avid listener of this show. We know that.
My ear holes hurt. I can't wear these silicone.
They're too big for my ears, y'all.
Got little tiny ears.
I mean, TC's ears are not very big.
I
They
haven't
might
spent
be.
a lot of time looking at his ear holes.
They're actually they're like pretty small ears. It might be him that he might be the progenitor of that request. You know. Where are we?
Yeah, okay. Let's see. These are long shots, right? I mean, there's been some talk that there might be the AR VR headset that they might actually talk about it for the first time at this October event. I don't know. It seems like rumors lately have been saying that they're going to hold that off until January or something like that. We'll see. They might mention it. This one's for you. Supposedly the new HomePod 2, whatever it's called. Better audio than the HomePod Mini. Close in design, maybe to the original. Supposed to be coming either last quarter of 2022 or early 2023, so that could be on the agenda.
Oh man, my YouTube channel would be rebooted in such glory if that happened. I was making so many freaking HomePod videos on my YouTube channel, and people were just eating them up, man. I couldn't believe how popular those videos were.
Why stop? Start up again in anticipation.
My problem is time. I mean, producing this show, full-time job, full-time
Disneyland.
family, going to Disney World.
No, Disney
I do.
World.
I have plans on my YouTube channel. I've got plans. The problem is executing those plans. I got no shortage of plans.
Right.
That part's no problem. But oh yes, it will be rebooted, Lewis. Oh yes. Oh yes.
Could have just a month or so to wait.
So the only other thing I wanted to reiterate here before we move on is last year, let's see here. We got an event last year, and it was in October. I think this is going to be the new thing. So I do believe we're going to get an October event, and Apple is just going to lay on the next generation. Will we see the Mac Pro at such an event? I think it's possible. What about the iMac Pro? iMac Pro, Lewis.
Are they even going to do that anymore?
We've heard murmurings. I don't know if we would get an iMac Pro this close to the Mac Studio, since it would essentially be a Mac Studio with a screen attached. But but I do think eventually we're going to get that, and it's going to be the last hardware release of the year. I think that will be it. The next one will be in like March or something, and it will probably be pretty lame. So, Mac Mini Pro, Mac Pro Mini. How about a soundbar, Airphone? I would be fine with that as well. I would be purple HomePod. Not sure I'd be okay with that unless it had sparkles in it. They need a sub $1,000 monitor. Well, I mean, the Apple Studio Display is a sub $1,000 monitor. It just costs $1,600.
Oh, jeez.
I wish I were joking.
That's just mean.
I wish I were joking. That monitor should be $900. I mean, it's a beautiful monitor, but $1,600, massively overpriced. Okay, Lewis. We're almost out of time here. Let me just talk about iPhone 14 real fast. You all probably already know this. Let's go to apple.com. If you haven't already ordered your iPhone 14, I thought this story was interesting. Ming-Chi Kuo was saying that the iPhone 14 Pro is selling well, but the iPhone 14 is selling worse than the iPhone 13 mini. And he was saying that about the Plus. And he was saying that Apple is probably going to have to cut back their orders because no one's buying the iPhone 14. And I just had a raucous laugh when I heard that because we have talked about the iPhone 14 for a long time. And we've mentioned that Apple was going to reuse the A15 SoC in it. And man, nobody cared about that at all. I think we posted some clips. No one watched those clips. No one cared. Lewis said he didn't care. Leander said he didn't care. And I was like, I feel like this is a big deal. And I don't know if the majority of most normal people consider this to be a big deal, but the iPhone 14s, like the regular versions of like the Apple iPhones, generally sell really well. And Ming-Chi Kuo saying the 14s are not selling very well at all, and that Apple might actually have to start cutting their orders. And I think this might be why. Because the iPhone 14 is just an iPhone 13 with a few extra software features. And maybe people have figured that out, and so they just decided to skip it this year. I mean, there's talks of recession. People are worried about losing their jobs. It could also be that. But then why is the Pro selling so well? You know?
It's because it's only a couple $100 more, and it seems this year more than ever. It seems way more.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, you can buy the iPhone 14 Plus for $899, or you can get the iPhone 14 Pro for $1,000. That seems like kind of an easy decision to me. It's like spend the extra, $100 and get a much better phone. But in any case, I thought it was pretty funny because a lot of people were kind of roasting the iPhone 14 when it came out, and there was this meme that was going around of this guy holding this. Let me see if I can bring this up.
That's a good one.
There's this meme going around of this guy, holding a shirt that he just opened as a present, and it was the same as the shirt he was already wearing. Yeah, here we go. And it was reposted by Lisa Jobs, and the caption says,
Eve Jobs.
Oh, Eve Jobs, excuse me. Me upgrading from iPhone 13 to iPhone 14 after today's Apple announcement. And it's that meme. And it started going viral, and then she apparently deleted it, I think. So someone got a screenshot. But I was like, man, even Steve Jobs' kid is roasting the phone. That's the level of comedy we've gotten to with iPhone
funny.
14 because it's just so similar. And it's happening all over the place. And I know this isn't entirely Apple's fault because of supply chain issues, but I was mentioning, I think in the pre-show, like the Apple Watch Series 8, so the SoC, right, which includes like the GPU, the CPU, all the different stuff, all in the system on a chip. The CPU is exactly the same as the Apple Watch Series 7, which is exactly the same as Apple Watch Series 6. So it's like Apple's starting to reuse their chips, and I just think it's a bad look, man. Like when you have these chips that are pretty much exactly the same, or you literally use the exact same chip, but you're charging and you're charging the same price for it, I just don't think that's very palatable for people. But we'll wait and see what happens.
I'm really surprised that the iPhone Plus isn't selling better. I mean, except for the fact that it's so close, the price is so close to the Max.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, I thought the 14 Plus was going to be their biggest selling phone by far because it's what everyone wants. It's a huge phone, except it's cheaper. Like, it's $200 cheaper than the iPhone 14 Pro Max, and actually it's way better colors too, in my opinion. Like, these colors are way better than the iPhone 14 Pro colors. But maybe it's not cheap enough, like...
That's the thing.
Yeah.
The difference is not that great. And so, I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. I mean, I really thought it would sell better, and maybe it will over time. I mean, it probably will over time. But, like we were talking about before, I think before the show started, I mean, if you're going to order an iPhone and you're going to get up, for on the West Coast here, get up at 5 a.m. and order it so you can have it when it, comes out. Are you really going to order the one that's the same as last year's? No, you're not. I just don't understand. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. I can't imagine why anybody would be excited to upgrade to that if they had. Well, I mean, I guess if your phone was really old, maybe. But.
Well, that's the thing, and that's probably who they're appealing to, are people who have an iPhone 10, or people who have an iPhone 11.
But the thing is, like, okay, well, if you're on a 2, 3, 4, 5 year iPhone upgrade cycle, and you're just like, oh well, why would you buy the 14 over the 13? Why wouldn't you just say I'll take a 13 for $200 even more cheaper?
Right. Yeah,
It doesn't make any
exactly.
sense.
Because I mean, the iPhone 14, besides the photonic engine and the crash detection, is essentially an iPhone 13. I mean, by all, I think maybe hardware standards, it is an iPhone 13. I could be wrong about that. I probably am wrong about that. It probably is a little bit different from a hardware perspective, but it's essentially an iPhone 13 with some extra software features, is the way it
Yeah,
seems to me.
and you're talking about people who are budget conscious, right? You're talking about people who are saying, "Well, I don't want to spend, $1,000 on an iPhone. I just need a phone that is solid and reliable." So okay, well, why not get a 13? I mean, because the price is so close to the Pro, the people who are excited about it are going to get the Pro because it's like, what's another on my payment plan? What's another $4 a month? I'll take it.
Yeah, I guess most people are just buying stuff on payments, aren't they? Does anyone even buy their phone outright anymore? And the other reason that I buy my phone outright is so the vampires at AT&T don't hit me with an activation fee, which this is a whole other topic. Like as we move to eSIM, you're going to be in a position where you can't just swap out your SIM cards anymore. And I'm like, are the carriers going to try and put their hand in your pocket when you do that now and say, well, got to activate your new eSIM if you want to move it from one phone to another? It's like, I mean, maybe we're not going to give you a new eSIM, but you got to move it. And if you want to move it, it's going to be $20. I would not
Never
be
used an
surprised in the
eSIM. I'm a little
slightest.
nervous about the
I think
eSIM
right now it's
situation.
free. I do think it's free. Like if you have an iPhone 13 or an older phone, you can convert your if you go into like settings, cellular, you can convert your SIM card into an eSIM, and then you can just pull your SIM card out. In fact, I think you'll have to do that before you move to the iPhone 14. And I haven't been able to find out yet if AT&T charges a activation fee for that movement. I'm hoping not, man. I'm gonna be pissed. I mean, and I heard they raised their activation fee too. Like it used to be 30,
Jeez.
and now it's 35.
I think that's what
And
Verizon charges.
is it? Yeah. So it's just
I
a
heard
cash
people
grab.
saying that if you call them and ask them to take it off your bill, they'll do it.
Those
I don't know if that's true.
bloodsuckers. So like you can still buy your phone outright. So this is the thing. Like if you do the if you do the upgrade program, then they activate the phone for you on your behalf. In fact, it's a little bit tricky because like I think that if you let me just go through the menu here. I'm gonna select the phone. No trade in. Yep. Okay. And I think it says. I think it gives you the option. Where's the option for the carrier? I don't see it. I think it gives you the option to have your. Oh, there we go. I'll just buy it outright, and it's going to ask you what carrier. Oh, interesting. Now, so they must activate it on your behalf. If you buy it connected to a carrier, the price is cheaper than if you buy it unlocked. And well, I guess they're all unlocked. But if you want to connect it to any carrier later, if you buy the iPhone 14 Plus, it's $929 if you don't connect it to a carrier. So they give you a $30 connectivity discount if you connect it to a specific carrier, but then I think the carrier is going to charge you an activation fee. But they don't do this with the iPhone 14 Pro models. So if you go with a 14 Pro, and let's go through the order process here. God, we're really in the weeds here, aren't we? So we're going to go with the Purple Rain here, 128 gigs, no trade-in, buy the phone. Yeah, so it's the same price to connect to a carrier later than it is to just buy it connected to a carrier. So this is the trick. Don't fall for it. If you click on AT&T, Sprint, T-Mobile, actually I don't know about T-Mobile or Verizon. I believe everyone but T-Mobile will charge you an activation fee. Maybe T-Mobile will as well. But if you connect to a carrier later, which literally will take you 5 minutes to do, then they don't charge you an activation fee because now you're bringing your own device, which is always how I've done it. So you're bringing your own device, so they won't charge you that fee. But with the eSIM, you still have to transfer your eSIM. Do you see what a mess we're in, Lewis? Okay.
Yeah, it's complicated. What are you going to do? What I want to know is, for instance, if you go to Europe and you want to get a eSIM because you don't want to pay your horrible carrier $15 a day or whatever. How's that going to work? I mean,
It's
in
a
the
huge
past,
mess.
you just walk into a store and you say, "Hi, I want the tourist SIM." They give you one,
Yep.
and you pay $30 and you got a month of data and phone. So now it's going to be eSIM. Like I don't know if they have the same thing with eSIM. I guess you could go ahead and well, no, it's not going to have a SIM tray, right?
Right.
So I can't get one of those things now. I mean,
Yeah.
surely the carriers
If you
will adapt.
travel a
I hope they
lot,
do it soon.
if you travel a lot, I would say you can't even buy an iPhone 14.
Oh God, if this happens, that'll be a real disaster.
If you want to swap your SIMs out, because that's the easiest way to do it. I mean, you are going to be able to move eSIMs, but that is not going to be a streamlined process. It's not going to be as easy as just popping the tray and putting in a new SIM card. No way.
Oh God.
I know, that's why I'm bummed that they did this. Like, I'm actually not really happy about this move. I would have preferred if they would have just left the SIM card slot in there.
I mean, I'm not a fan of popping that SIM card out, or on those little airplane trays, and trying not to drop it. And I hate messing with those things. They're tiny and easy to drop, and you're always doing it after like a 14-hour flight, right? And you're like, oh no, what am I gonna do? But
yeah,
I mean, I hope. Why wouldn't they make it? Doesn't of all things. I mean, it seems like the SIM card is, since eSIM exists, it seems like the SIM card is the last thing anybody needs, right? Like who wants to produce these things? Who wants to have you sliding them in and out of the phone? Why not just everything go eSIM? I mean, maybe this will be another place of Apple like pushing the entire industry in the right direction.
Well, someone's saying, Mark Dubbs in the chat saying you can easily swap eSIMs. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure the process isn't like awful, but is it as easy as just popping the tray and putting a new SIM card in there? Doubt it.
I mean, it seems like you ought to be able to just scan a barcode or something, but
well, I think you can do that from your carrier.
But the problem is that,
but it'll cost you.
These tourist SIMs have never. I've never seen one as an eSIM. Maybe they exist.
Hold on a second.
Start looking at
the chat's saying that the European version of the iPhone still has a SIM card tray. Is that what you guys are saying? I can't imagine that's true.
That's what I heard.
Really?
U.S. versions don't.
So it's only U.S. that's losing the SIM card tray?
What if they do that? What if it's like this is like a giant bone thrown to Verizon? Okay, now everybody's gonna have to, when they go to Europe, they're gonna have to use your Verizon plan. That'll be a revolt.
Yeah, I'd be disgusted with that move. I would send a politely worded email to TC.
Polite,
but firm. And when he saw it, he would get so squinty. The whole screen would go blurry.
Oh, jeez.
All right, look, let's wrap up with this one story. We've been going forever, and we've just been meandering and rambling for hours now. It feels like it's been days, doesn't it, Lewis?
What day is this?
I'm not sure. I can't even figure it out. It's been so long, I've lost all sense of time. So I want to leave you with this tweet. Let me pull this up. Now, this is interesting, in my humble opinion. So we know that one of the features is satellite connectivity, right, with the iPhone, right? Now, what is interesting about that is if you dig into the details, that connectivity is only good, I think, for 2 years. It's only a 2-year feature, and after that, if you want it, I believe you have to pay a monthly fee for that, which is not cheap. But apparently, according to the great Elon Musk, somebody tweeted him and said, hopefully Apple partners with SpaceX, Starlink, to help connectivity with the new iPhone 14 via emergency SOS and satellites. And Elon Musk replied, we've had some promising conversations with Apple about Starlink connectivity. Now that is interesting. iPhone team is obviously super smart. Well, if he's complimenting them, it must have gone well. For sure, closing link from space to phone will work best if phone software and hardware adapt to space-based signals versus Starlink, purely emulating cell tower. Now, why do I think this is an interesting, Lewis? Because imagine a world with no carriers. Imagine a world with no towers. I don't know if it would work out this way, but if iPhone built in an option so that you could connect to Starlink Wi-Fi no matter where you were, that is an insane feature. I mean, if you had Starlink anywhere you went and you had like broadband internet in the boonies, out in the wild, up on the mountain, I mean, all the places that Elon Musk says Starlink works best, because where he says it doesn't work best is in major metropolitan areas. So you would probably still have to rely on towers in that instance. But everywhere else, you could probably have super fast Starlink. And from what I hear, Starlink is really fast, like between 100 and 500 megabits per second. That is faster than a lot of people's internet that they have now. Now, there's some latency, right? It's not going to be perfect. But
about the latency.
But I've heard, I was talking to this realtor, who's selling houses out in the middle of nowhere. And she was saying that Starlink is super common out there, and people work from home and they have their Zoom calls and everything else, and it just works like internet.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's with a really small customer base, right?
Yeah,
Not
but
a billion iPhones.
it's got a lot of satellites up there, Lewis, and I don't think it's meant to handle 20,000 transactions. I think it's built to handle like the masses. Those satellites can handle a lot of bandwidth. That's all I'm saying. This is Norbert Frasa. Fantastic name, by the way. This is the Buster Heine plan. When he wanders the desert and he can send updates to his Instagram and his loincloth, which was unfortunately hacked. So never believe anything that comes from Buster Heine's Instagram.
But then Apple was talking about the SOS thing. I mean, it's super limited. Like, oh, well, you can send a text message, but since sending a text message to space takes time, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It's. I mean, my one experience with satellite internet was in the boonies in Ohio, and it wasn't Starlink. It was something else.
Yeah.
And it was terrible. It was unusable.
Yeah, but
It was a
I know
long
what you
time
mean.
ago.
Yeah, that's the. Here you are going into the past again. Always talking about the past, Lewis.
Yeah, I'm sure Starlink's better, but $99 a month too, right? Plus $500 for the hardware to set it up.
Well, that's what it's at now. Just
I
wait a
know.
year. It will be 2,000 gigabits a second, and it'll be $5 a month.
Yeah, okay.
Technology. I'm looking
You
forward.
better run those numbers by Elon.
I'm looking forward. You're looking backward, Lewis. That's why I'm a technologist. You know what I see in the future, Lewis? If I'm being
Disney
honest.
World.
I see Disney World, and I hear this song. See? Told you. Come down the pipe.
Oh, nice.
Do you recognize that?
fade.
Do you recognize that song?
It's very subtle.
I'm looking into the future, and I see that we have nothing else to say. We're literally just going around in circles now. So I think we should go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week and for the following week and the week after. No shows for 2 weeks. So I don't know what you guys are going to do with your time. You're not going to have 6 hours worth of CultCast to listen to, and I regret that. I'm going to miss you guys. Maybe I'll post some pictures to Twitter if you follow me there. That might make a revival. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up there. That's the CultCast we have for you guys. I can't even talk.
You're so excited.
If you want to come hang out with us, we're both on Twitter. I'm at Airfon, ERFON. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute app conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. Well, do I have to change it to
Almost.
Almost every
Practically
every Thursday night.
every Thursday.
Well, thank everyone for listening, hanging out live. We will catch you guys in 2 weeks, and that will be next time. Unless we want to do the live broadcast from Space Mountain.
I want to see you in a goofy suit.
A goofy suit? I'm not applying for a job. I'm not looking for work, Lewis. I can take a picture with Goofy, or maybe I can mug the guy and take his suit. How does that sound?
Yeah.
On the last day.
Offer him $20 to just borrow it for 10 minutes.
You know what? I have no doubt. For $20, he would just take his suit off right there and give it to me. He'd be like, okay, here you go. And he takes off the suit and he still talks like that. That's why they hired him. That's just how he talks. Here you go there, sir. All right. End stream. Bye, y'all.